we'll have a moment of silence while we think about the 5,397,099 people suffering with COVID, or the families of the 343,584 people who have died from COVID around the globe. Te Koto Te Whānau, O Auckland Unitarians. Te Koto Nā Manahiri. No mai, higher mai ki tene hui, te koto, te tato katoa.
Kia ora.
Hi.
Morena.
Thank you.
Hello.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Welcome. What you bring, who you are, enriches us all. We say welcome to your joy, your hope, your pride. We say welcome to your grief, your fear, your anger, and parts of you that are not yet ready to be seen and heard. Welcome to them as well. For we are people of faith. Faith in our expansive welcome. Faith in the ability to grow. Faith in the precious gift of our truth. Faith in the promise of trying, learning, changing. Faith in our capacity to know ourselves and each other ever deeply. Now come, let us worship together. May just seeing each other's faces this morning give us shelter. May this Zoom community break through our loneliness, and may we feel the embrace of a larger spirit of life and love. And if you have your chalice or candle, it's time for our virtual chalice lighting. All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share. My opening words are by Lynn Cox. And Lynn is an old friend. She was a colleague when I was in Sacramento, and she's now in Maryland, but these are her words. Spirit of life who draws us together in a web of holy relationships. Make your presence known with us, and then us and among us. Remind us that we are not alone in history. Ignite us with the courage of the living tradition. Remind us that we are not alone in entering the future. Anchor us with patience and perseverance. Remind us that we are not alone in our times of grief and pain. Comfort us with your spirit. Manifest in human hands and voices. Remind us that we are not alone in joy and wonder. Inspire us to honor and extend the beauty we find in this world. Divine music of the universe, let our hearts beat in diverse and harmonious rhythms, cooperating with an everlasting dance of love. May we move with the rhythms of peace. May we move with the rhythms of compassion. May we move with the rhythms of justice. Source of stars and planets and water and land, open our hearts to all our neighbors. Open our souls to a renewal of faith. Open our hands to join together in the work ahead. Well, my musings this week, I've entitled Rebuilding Better. I've been musing on how long-range planning has become nothing more than wondering what might happen next week. Certainly one vocation that has little future is that of a futurist. Wikipedia defines a futurist as someone whose specialty or interest in futurology, or the attempt to systematically explore predictions and possibilities about the future and how they can emerge from the present, whether that of human society in particular or of life on Earth in general. Basically, predicting the future has become a fool's errand. In spite of this new reality, we haven't stopped trying to figure out what our post-pandemic lives might look like. We all want to read the last chapter of a mystery novel before beginning the book, only to find out it hasn't been written yet. And we in New Zealand, tiptoe into level 2, I see a rise in this speculation about the future now that most of us survived the first wave with our health unscathed. With that worry put to the side for now, we can now focus on what remains of the rest of our lives. For almost everyone, it looks like a tornado came through town yesterday while we were hunkered down in the storm cellar. Debris is everywhere. The landscape has become unfamiliar. One of the qualities I admire most about humanity is that after the initial shock and despair dissipates, we get down to the business of cleaning up the mess and rebuilding. Of course, this is where the problems and conflicts begin to arise. There will be those who want to simply restore what previously existed, forgetting, for instance, that global climate change means that there will be a lot more tornadoes in our future. And there will be those who think living in a trailer park in Tornado Alley was never a brilliant idea. They see an opportunity to rebuild better. The downside of that approach is it almost necessarily requires letting go of aspects of our lives we loved before the cataclysm. Those of us in the Rebuild Better camp share universal concerns. We see an opportunity to implement a fossil-free green economy that creates meaningful work while saving the planet. We see neoliberalism much like that ill-situated trailer park. The invisible hand of the market was second only to Trump as COVID-19's BFF. Contrary to neoliberal tenets that government and unions are worthy only of suppression or even annihilation, they've been essential in uniting us to resist successfully the virus. They are our hope in building a just economy that doesn't see a supermarket worker as both essential and sacrificial. Beyond universal concerns, there are the specific challenges that everyone is facing in their context. We may be relaxing some of the restrictions required in level 3 and 4, but good hygiene and cleaning protocols, keeping track of our contacts, maintaining physical distance, not traveling overseas are all restrictions that will remain in place for the indeterminate future. That means every aspect of our lives has to incorporate them for the well-being of all. How and where we work, how and when we commute, how we shop and buy our groceries, how we socialize at a restaurant or bar or in our homes, how we exercise, how we parent, how we teach, how we get medical assistance from our GP. And for me, it is pondering how we maintain our faith community within these parameters. If you ask Google what other faiths and denominations are thinking about their futures, you will quickly learn that Auckland Unitarians are not alone. Easter, Ramadan, the days of awe from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur have all been and will be affected. The Unitarian Universalist Association is telling its American congregations not to expect to open their buildings again before May 2021. I received this notice this week that our annual General Assembly will be held online, which is cool for night owls, as most of it will happen in the middle of the night here in New Zealand. I have spent considerable time online looking at what future church might look like with us specifically in mind. Most of what I've seen is about how to rebuild in Tornado Alley, rather than reflecting on new ways of incarnating our kaupapa, how to be our mission. The reality is that organized believing centered on a particular building has been in decline in New Zealand since the 1960s. More than half of New Zealanders state no religious preference, even though most of them would have 100% agreement with the 7 principles that undergird our faith. Yet that does not motivate them to join our community, which is the last viable outpost for Unitarianism in Aotearoa. I'm wondering how attractive visiting us on Sundays will be. If you have to wait outside to enter the building until the greeter invites you one at a time into our narrow foyer to sanitize your hands and put on a face mask before entering the sanctuary. Don't forget to scan the QR code with your mobile phone's tracking contact tracing app. Hymn books and orders of service will no longer be made available. Once inside, you take a seat that is 2 meters apart from seats next to you, in front of you, and behind you. That means each chair will have a circle with a 4-meter diameter around it, greatly reducing the number of people who can attend our small sanctuary, even after the present 10 people maximum is lifted. During the service, there will be no singing unless everyone is wearing a face mask. Passing a hand mic around for discussion and notices will no longer be possible, making it difficult for the hearing impaired. Morning tea will be suspended. A children's program will be difficult in our space to continue, at least as we've done it in the past. In many ways, our beloved building has become an albatross around our neck. And we have to wonder if it's no longer suitable for purpose. At present, the answer to this dystopian vision has been a church without walls, thanks to Zoom. It has allowed us to stay connected. Average attendance has increased over in-person worship pre-COVID. Our reach has expanded from Florida to Queensland and from Dunedin to Whangarei. The downside is the limit to how long we can stretch our resources to continue. Keeping our doors shut costs much the same as keeping them open. Yet the financial resources to do so have been greatly reduced. No Sunday collection, lower pledge giving, lost renters' income, canceled fundraisers like the services auction are forcing us to rely on reserves, which are limited. We have to think about new models for supporting our mission while there is still time. Big challenges, I know. Difficult decisions ahead, yeah. But this is not a time for despair. It's a time for a level of creativity only a community can generate. It is time to be confident that New Zealand needs, perhaps more than ever, our Unitarian values. It's a time for faith. It's a time to rebuild better together. Like in beating the virus, everyone will be needed. Well, now that I've cheered you up with that, I think we'll go into breakout sessions. And you may want to react to that, but what I'd like you to maybe focus in is, what would a church you built look like? Okay, I think everybody's back. Welcome back. Did you have a good discussion?
We had a good discussion, yes, thank you. We got a bit lighthearted towards the end and thought that perhaps you could go back to your original job that you had at St Matthew's, Clay, and become a marketer and ask for money, so that we could do all these things for the poor people and bring them into the building and have poorer people as part of our community as well. That was one thing.
Yeah, well, we had quite a good discussion, and as Clay knows, he and I have communicated a little bit on this in the last couple of weeks, because being at a distance, I really appreciate this opportunity. I've been, in quotes, to church more than I have been in 2 years, probably in the last 6 or 8 weeks, and so that's really been fantastic. And I think we do need to figure out some sort of hybrid model. But I think we need to take small steps, but plan carefully, because there will be some expense for technology and maybe for even personnel. But it just expands our reach. And we talked about clusters too. For example, those of us up north could occasionally meet as a cluster or a home group, as well as most of the time meeting like this. Thank you.
Okay, that means it's time now to extinguish the chalice. And I know you know the words, most of you. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. My closing words are by Susan Van de Dresser. Let us sing the magic of imagination, by which we know one another and learn the lives of eras gone by. Let us sing the magic of creation, by which we build the world of our soul and teach its wisdom to others, young and old. Let us sing the magic of our lives together, holding and shaping by the movement of breath from heart to lung, all new life that is to come. Go now with singing, go now with magic in your fingertips. Touch this world with light.